Alright guys, what's going on and welcome back to Overunder. Today I'm going to be bringing you some gameplay of Mercy on both offense and defense of Route 66, and I'll talk about Mercy a little bit in these lower level games. I've noticed that on Route 66 in general, you'll see a pattern. The higher the average MMR, the more likely or the more effectively teams manage to hold the top of the gas station. And it doesn't really happen too much in high level games that your team is going to position so far forward, much like my team in this game here. But even though this is the case for this game, my Hanzo's propped up onto the gas station and I'm able to damage boost him safely. So I noticed the Reaper takes the high ground control here despite the Hanzo having the ability to shoot him in the head. I make a slight mistake here as well. I actually abandoned my Hanzo. I don't know what was going through my head. I kind of thought Hanzo would either run away from the Reaper or deal with him without my assistance. That was, in hindsight, not the best move to make. And maybe a little bit desperate. You never really want to overstretch for healing. And my strategy for this game in particular, at least while the Hanzo or somebody is on top of the gas station, I want to be damage boosting the target that is going to do the most amount of damage from the safest position that they can do it from. So for this game, you need to look at what heroes you have and pick the one that is going to fill that criteria. In this game in particular, Hanzo was my main man. So whilst you perch yourself off on the high ground, it's a lot harder, especially without any form of hit scan or anything like that, for them to actually kill you as a Mercy. And you can just play around this rooftop, do a lot of dancing, and as I try to fly away from this fire's ultimate thanks to the dead body, abusing that Guardian Angel to the best of my ability. And I'm trying to use some different Mercy settings. If you're curious what they are, if you go into the options, I've just turned literally everything off. The toggle beam, the Guardian Angel preferring the beam target, and also the usage of Guardian Angel being a toggleable. I think that's the last one. So I've turned those all off for this game, and I'm trying to get used to them and try and get a feel of what settings I prefer. And from what I've noticed is that there is pros and cons to every single Mercy, option. And I think the current settings that I have with everything turned off, it gives me probably the most mechanical difficulty moving around the map, but I do believe it does benefit me greatly. So you'll notice that the enemy Reaper drops in and kills off two of my allies, but the fight's pretty much over from there. So I decided to get the double res off. Route 66 is one of those maps where the walk back from death is quite long, and I have confidence in my team to have the ability to build res before I'll need it again. You want to try and avoid getting obviously single reses unless they're extremely important for a particular fight. But in this game, I was fortunate enough to not be dealt with too many difficult res questions. Like, as a Mercy, you need to make that decision by yourself. You need to think, is this res worth it? In that case, it was pretty obvious that it was going to be okay. But in general, the main thing you really need to focus on, reses of course, are one thing, but I think just damage boosting, making sure that you're not positioning yourself completely horribly. It is quite difficult if your team is so far forward. You'll see I utilize the Guardian Angel as well as the Hover to juke my way around this Winston, making it almost impossible for him to fully kill me off. He does get extremely close, however, so it is okay. Like, occasionally you will die in situations like that, but the point and the main focus is, as Mercy, should be just to avoid it as much as you possibly can. And a lot of the times you'll find yourself, you're a lot more difficult to kill, and yeah, you're a very important target. And one of the things I've noticed in these low level games is that the healers that I play with, or that I verse, they don't value their lives high enough. And I think that's one of the biggest, most overshadowing, factors of a lower level healer, is that they do not value their lives as high as they should. In this game in particular, I think I played pretty dangerously, but I was kind of just flexing my limits because, I understand that they're not going to have McCree or something that's just going to insta-kill me like I'm normally used to dealing with and playing extremely scared. This game I was a little bit more liberal with my positioning, where there's always going to be pros and cons with that. You want to avoid it if you feel the chance of death is extremely high, but healing obviously is a very beneficial thing to do. And if you find yourself having to overstretch for your teammates' poor positioning just to heal them up, you want to use your voice communication and or text chat and just tell them to play further backwards, or they're not going to receive any healing, and that you're pretty important, especially as Mercy. So as I said, I actually took Mercy for the offense as well. I felt like because our defense was such a strong hold, and I wanted just to have a clean Mercy game, I decided to pick her again. And a thing that you'll notice there, like if there is a target in front of you that you would like to heal, but they are maybe further than your Guardian Angel distance, what you want to do is like leapfrog off another target. So in that instance in particular, I can't remember who exactly, I think it was like the Lucio that was low, but I ended up Guardian Angeling. That is a very hard thing to say to the Hanzo. So that way I closed the distance quicker and still was able to heal the Lucio despite not Guardian Angeling to the target directly. So much to my surprise, in this round on the offense, my Reaper manages to push the enemies off the gas station high grounds, much like they did to our Hanzo in the round 1. So because we had the opening picks and the pressure, I wasn't feeling it from the enemy team, I took that opportunity to take that high ground once again. The high ground is always the strongest position if you are uncontested. So because I noticed that absolutely nothing was on top of that high ground, it was a pretty safe call for me to Guardian Angel up with my Reaper and just pocket him whilst he went down and did work, keeping that damage boosting on my Reaper whilst he dealt as much damage as he possibly could, whilst also being in the safest position in relative terms. I was pretty safe anywhere around that map because my team were positioned a lot better than the enemies. So anyway guys, I think that is the gameplay for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Some quick takeaways would be to, if you're in the lower level games, just hold on top of the gas station and value your life a lot more higher, especially if you're an important healing target such as a Mercy. You really cannot undervalue your life in these situations, otherwise you'll find yourself dying much more than you'll need to. And you just got to remember, at the end of the day, your life is extremely important because you preserve that of the others on your team, and in the end, that is what is going to win you games, if you can keep those guys alive and make sure that you repel the enemy from achieving whatever they're trying to get done. So anyway guys, thank you for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you have any comments and or questions, drop them in the comments. But anyway, I'm out. Cheers, and I'll see you later in the next video.